NBC4 News at 11 starts with news.
New activity as day turns night in today.
Looks like there's a little bit of trouble here. There's a little here.
A day across America calling for no kings.
This is our future.
As citizens, we have the right to just protest against it.
From the ground
Washington, D.C.
to the air.
This is one of the biggest that we've seen in recent memory.
NBC4 there to witness thousands across Southern California.
Do you believe that something like this can change in this country?
I think it has to.
From familiar faces to everyday people.
And snarls on I-5. Military shows its might at Camp Pendleton.
I bring greetings today from our Commander-in-Chief, J.
We're live. The activity ends into the night. A night of clashes with law enforcement, kicking off a day of peaceful protest. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kathy Vara.
And I'm Robert Kovacek. From small towns like Crestline and Red to larger areas like downtown LA, we cite the turnout for second ever No Kings Day.
The No Kings Network, which organized the day of today's event, says that nearly 7 million people participated across the U.S. They counted 2,700 demonstrations in all 50 states.
But as we have tendency with demonstrations this year, things have been tense at times tonight in downtown L.A. From the air, News Chopper 4 capturing the LAPD moving in on horseback, forcing crowds to disperse.
And even tonight, moments ago, we saw more arrests. NBC4's Karma Dickerson has been on the ground covering this, and she joins us live. Karma?
Well, yes, coming to you from downtown, which is more quiet, at least in the area where we are. We are right here just at Aliso in Los Angeles. Now, you might notice that there are some police over my shoulders. They're still very focused on those three on-ramps. They're folks all making that protesters do not make it onto the freeway. So even though the streets are a lot quieter than they have been for some time, you still see that police presence in key areas. Now, we should mention it was a very different story as it got darker from what we saw earlier. So we're about what's happened most recently. By 5:30, a crowd federal and the crowd was certainly not as big as we had in the day when we were talking about thousands of people, but a crowd of about 100 people started to gather. That started to grow. Some video of what things looked like. There were people in the crowd that were chanting, they were dancing. Some people were even on loudspeakers criticizing the LAPD or to take a stand against ICE. There was a lot of little graffiti that we noticed that was left behind, though we didn't actually see any graffiti. That sets the scene for what comes next. At about 7 o'clock, LAPD began announcing the protest had been declared unlawful and that people needed to leave. At that point, we hadn't seen any violence or confrontations. However, police say lasers and industrial lights were being used against the officers on the ground, and not just on the ground, in the helicopter above. So the crowd was told to leave. At first, they did not leave. Police started pushing forward. Started to see those confrontations. A video that appears to show an officer shooting a woman with a non-lethal projectile. It appears she was hit somewhere in her torso, in her lower body. She appeared to be in a lot of pain as a result of that. Another woman dressed as a handmaid to symbolize concern over women's and reproductive rights remained seated after police had dispersal, and she was detained in.
One of the officers came over and said, grab her by her shoulders, and so they lifted me up, and then that's when they dragged me over to the side. I was prepared that it could have been, and my goal was to not resist. I know that they have a job to do. My job was to come out and protest peacefully.
Jennifer Johnson, we caught up with her about 25 minutes after we saw her being detained downtown. She said she was essentially given a warning and told that she needed to leave the area or she was going to be arrested. So as we see police catching up with some of these protesters, it's unclear whether or not they're actually being arrested and charged or if they're being detained for some time and essentially told to go. She did note that she had been, she believed that she'd been a ticket, and so where things go from here for her, clear, but we have reached out to LAPD to understand just how many people they've either detained or arrested, and people, if any, were hurt, seem to be hit by that lethal projectile. On a lot of pain, did she need medical attention? We're still working at those answers. Now, at least in this area of downtown, we're seeing a much quieter situation. I'll send it back.
Carmen, we want to thank you for that. LAPD is now responding to what happened earlier today in downtown LA as demonstrators marched to Alameda. An LAPD patrol car attempting to make its way through the crowd. Someone then fell to the ground. This was around 5 o'clock tonight. The LAPD tonight says they are investigating, and we understand the person took themselves to the hospital.
And before people in the crowd started marching, they filled Gloria Graham Park. It was a gathering of thousands of people of all ages and all backgrounds.
NBC4's Alex Rozier rally for today, and he brings us voices from outside City Hall.
News 4 was has thousands converged in downtown Los Angeles for the No Kings rally, protesting the policy of the Trump administration.
It is my responsibility, American citizen, to stand up peacefully, thoughtfully, well-informed, and to say no.
Wayne Valère is a Vietnam vet who was in attendance today. Every person had different reasons for taking part, from concerns about immigration enforcement to health care.
Right now, it's clear that people are losing Obamacare. They're going to be spending thousands more to keep their medical coverage.
Annis and Kathy are married. They said they're here hoping for a bright future for young people.
I have a young family. I hope it gets better for them. You know, I don't want things to go back in the past like they were, you know, like when my father and his father grew up. You know, we don't want to get back to that.
My husband and I both, we were just speaking this morning that fortunately we're going to be okay. However, the way things are going, we're not too sure about the future for our loved ones or family members, or young people.
But regardless of the reason people participated, some say this rally is really what America's all about.
These people, they're not rich, they're not famous, they're not nothing, but they're making signs, they're kitchen tables in their garages so they can come out here and support our Constitution. I think we have to do something. You know, we have to make an effort, even if it's something small. We have to make an effort.
In downtown Los Angeles, I'm Alex Rozier, NBC News.
Now, while these demonstrations were playing out today, we also saw a military demonstration. That one celebrating the 250th birthday of the U.S. Marine Corps. Camp Pendleton playing host, causing a shutdown of a chunk of the 5 freeway earlier today. NBC4's Amber Frias has more on the military muscle on display and all that went with it.
Explosions, flyovers, and thousands of spectators. Camp Pendleton celebrated the Marine Corps 250th anniversary in a big way today. A 17-mile stretch of the 5 freeway was shut down this morning for a rare live ammunition demonstration, followed by a celebration at Del Mar Beach, complete with military flyovers and speeches.
For 2.5 centuries now, this beloved Corps has served as our nation's sharp edge, always forward deployed, always ready, and always faithful. My service in the Marine Corps was a huge part of my life. I would not be here today. I'm the Vice President of the United States. I would not be the man I am today were it not for those 4 years that I served in the Marine Corps.
But not everyone was celebrating. Outside the base, a No Kings rally drew dozens of demonstrators speaking out against President Trump and current government policies.
I am so scared of what's happening to our country, and I'm scared for my grandchild. You know, it's incredible. I mean, the things that are going on with ICE, the people that are being hurt by this, the kids. This is the only way that I can show, you know, how I feel.
Some demonstrators say protest wasn't anti-military, but a call for the community to stand together.
It sends a message that the community is going to stand together, and that whether someone's from the right, whether someone's from the left, whether they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Libertarian, everyone in this country, almost everyone, has had enough.
For some, it was a day of honoring 250 years of Marine Corps history. For others, a moment to raise their voices. Amber Frias.
And we saw demonstrations in corners of Southern California, like this one here in East LA, all expressing frustrations with the Trump administration, the government shutdown, and more.
From the Empire in San Bernardino to Palmdale, crowds also gathered in Beverly Hills as well as Sedona. And then there was the OC, the San Fernando Valley, Long Beach, and countless others, all of them remain peaceful, and some participants even tell us they look more like street parades.
There were recognizable faces at the downtown LA protest. One of our viewers sharing this video, Pedro Pascal, with us. You can see other marchers walking along him. And we were streaming these events live from 8 today. You can live breaking news as it happens. Just download the LA app to NBCLA.com.
Okay, we've got much more coming up tonight at 11. The party bus in WeHo. The surprise